How much does an Apple employee make in an Apple store? Why don't you go in there and ask them? Are they making 50 grand a year? Well, that would be a living 40 grand. That would be a living wage, right? You think, are they making 40 grand and working in an Apple store? No, they're not. But you will flood Apple every time Apple decides to come out with an updated or new product. And then you will pay a premium because it's Apple on top of it. Didn't they release Apple did release one of their iPhones during the Occupy Wall Street movement. And there was a lull in the Occupy Wall Street movement one day or a couple of days because all the Occupy Wall Street kids who didn't have jobs were out there trying to buy the new latest Apple iPhone. How do you guys live with yourself on a daily basis? I don't get it. And in Apple, they leave all of this money offshore. But you hate when corporations leave their money offshore and don't bring it back so it can be taxed up to 50 or 60%. Yet you'll still go and buy more Apple products so Apple can keep all that profit offshore. And, it was just recently, there was a couple of weeks ago, I brought you a story about how there was, Apple was being chastised for not being diversified enough in their senior management levels. That there was a particular Apple stockholder who wanted to have a proxy or something instituted at the annual meeting, forcing that would, if they get enough stockholders behind it, it would force Apple to have to institute racial quotas for senior management. Wait. I thought Apple was a diversified, they're a liberal company. Their CEO is openly gay. I thought that they were a diversified, very friendly, nice, left-leaning, liberalistic type of company. Are you telling me they're not? Because you have to force them to have a certain number of minorities in their senior management, which they don't have? How do you liberals live with yourselves? I just don't understand the hypocrisy. There's no way in hell I could possibly live with such hypocrisy within myself on a daily. Something would have to change. I don't get how you can live that. A liberal, I don't know. You guys are going to have to explain this to me, liberal. You're going to have to explain it to me because I don't see how that's possible. And because you are so hypocritical, nobody on the center or the right can take you seriously. You are not going to win any converts. I mean, most people don't grow up and suddenly realize that they're a liberal. Most people grow up and suddenly realize that they're conservative notions and leanings because those are not hypocritical things. I always find it interesting that you run around and you see a bunch of 40, 50, 60-year-old hippies. They're always liberal. Listen, there's a program. I'm binging on Hulu right now, and it's not because it's all that good. Frankly, this is for me because I don't watch a lot of TV and I don't follow a lot of programs. This is a show whole season. I don't have Mad Men to look forward to. I never did get into Walking Dead, so I don't watch The Walking Dead. Ooh, I must be like one of a hand. I don't get the whole zombie thing. I guess I always wonder, wait a minute. All right, they got zombies. Zombies tend to be in urban areas. Zombies are also very slow. But they can't get away from them? Now, if they were zombies like in Brad Pitt's World War Z that were ultra strong and ultra fast, I can see where you might have a problem. They were like the zombies in World War Z, where the zombies actually look like they could think and plan, because that's how they got over in Israel. They got over the wall. Had to take some thinking. Okay, that's a problem. To me, the zombies, the slow-moving zombies, Neanderthal, dumb, mindless robot zombies in Walking Dead would not be a problem. Sorry, that's why I don't buy the whole premise of the show. That's why I don't want. That's why I don't want. Just me, I know, but that's why I don't like it. That's why I don't. I wouldn't say don't like it. That's why I don't watch it. I can't get. I've seen a few episodes, can't get into it because that's what I constantly think. I think, wait a minute, you're going to stand there while the zombies surround you? Why would you do that? They can't run. You can run. But so I'm watching this one program, and what is it? Happy Endings. I'm watching it on Hulu. I think it's a real network TV show. And they run into stuff like this. I guess you could say it's kind of like a very bad version of Seinfeld, or maybe Friends. I guess I don't. It's just a small group of friends, like 5 or 6 of them, and of course they got to have the. Really isn't all that what you. As he likes dudes and great guys, go to a college campus, put him on a college, and you would say that he was straight before any of those straight kids were. I'm just saying. And they have the resident couple because everybody's single except for, and of course they're a mixed race couple. I'm the first couple of episodes I'm watching this and. Woman is pretty, and black guy. He's a good looking guy, but I'm like, damn, he looks familiar. And I'm like, okay, I know those facial expressions, familiar. And it took me a couple episodes to actually decide, why don't I pay attention to the credits because I never really pay attention to the credits. The guy's name happens to be Damon Wayans Jr. And the reason why he looks so familiar is he's a dead ringer for his father, Damon Wayans. I mean, you want to talk about father, and Damon Wayans actually guest starred on an episode. They were together. And Damon, dad, is about an inch or two taller than son, Junior. But the resemblance between, I'm like, that's why he looks so familiar. But by the way, the title is misleading. Happy Endings. Yeah, it's quirky, it's cute, it fills the show hole for me when I have time to watch TV. So, but they had the last episode that I watched. They were fighting, or the fight against. Basically a Starbucks. It wasn't Starbucks, but that's basically what it was. Coming into the neighborhood. Oh my goodness. First of all, if this coffee shop, this powerhouse is going to be gentrified and we're not going to be able to afford the rent in here. Rent will go through the roof and blah, and all these people will come back into the city. So in order, you want to keep the neighborhood poor so you can easily rent. You want to keep people unemployed so people can easily afford the rent. You don't want to, improve the neighborhood, bring jobs in the neighborhood because you're afraid that your rent might go up. But he did change his tune after he met the franchise owner, which was also another local. That changes everything again. So if that changes everything, why isn't on TV, which is written by a bunch of liberals anyway out in Hollywood, why wouldn't the very fact that Tim Cook, an openly gay man who's a CEO of Apple, change anything for Apple? Well, I guess it does. Because Apple is one of the very few corporations that can get away with doing everything the liberals say they hate about big corporate America. Except for the fact that they're not, diversified enough. I guess Apple's senior management team is so white that you've got a white stockholder who wants to force quotas on them. Look, I've got a couple. I'm not a huge Apple fan, and people who listen to the show regularly know that. I am not an Apple fan. And it's not because the stuff doesn't work. I do. The Apple products, I have an iPad mini, an iPod. I bought none of that. Neither one of them. They were gifts. I would not spend my money on that stuff. I would not pay the premium for that. But, you know, I don't have an iPhone. I refuse to get an iPhone. My last 3 cell phones, and this is purely not because I wanted it to be, but my last three cell phones happen to be Samsung. No, I take that back. One before, and the current one I have are Samsung. The one that I had before this Samsung was a BlackBerry. And I love the good phone signal. I get better signal with that thing than I do with my current Samsung. I actually didn't like the phone. BlackBerry Pearl. I ended up hating the thing. I really did. I did. You know, the Pearl kept falling out, and I ended up when I first got it, thought I loved it. About 6 months into it, realized I hate it. But you know what? I couldn't change it because I'm in this stupid 2-year contract. And then Sprint kept sending me, well, you know what? You can get a new phone. You replace this one. But the fine print said, well, geez, if I do that, then I'm going to back basically forever. No. So I resisted. Just like I'm resisting now. Constantly sending me stuff about, hey, get a new phone. Why? You know, I have actually, since I'm out of contract with Sprint, and I got to tell you, I get a little bit better customer service with them now that I don't have a contract than when I was in contract. Doing contracts anymore. Earn my business every month. Got people out there who are just loving. Donald Trump out there saying something about it. Try to look for it during the break. But this whole notion that you liberals are so hypocritical is so apparent. And the reason, look at Hillary Clinton. I mean, can we just stop for a second and look at wonderful Hillary? But why do you on the left like Hillary? She's qualified. How is it possible that Hillary Clinton is qualified? Because you accused George W. Bush of doing exactly the same thing that Hillary Clinton has been proven to have done. And yet you wanted to see Bush and Cheney on a perp walk. You wanted them thrown in jail and possibly hung for treason. And yet you got Hillary Clinton, who doubled down on what G.W. Bush is accused of doing, has been proven so far to have done what George Bush has been accused of doing. And yet you liberals are saying, well, that doesn't really matter. She's more than qualified to be the next president. And yet you don't see why people are looking at you, scratching their head and saying, what kind of freaking hypocrite are you? I mean, really, George Bush lied. People died. That was the whole premise behind the Iraq War. Well, hey, I guess Hillary Clinton did it a little, just a tad bit different. Hillary Clinton didn't lie and then people died. Oh, no. She did a little bit differently. See, with Hillary Clinton, the way it went is people died and then she lied.